So, we got, what does it say? Juice WRLD didn't stand a chance. A psychological analysis. This seemed very interesting. This is a long video. This might be your only reaction. Let me see. But here we go.
On the 8th of December 2019, at approximately 1 a.m., a private jet carrying Jared Higgins, known globally at this point as Juice WRLD, was landing at Midway International Airport in Chicago. Juice, at this stage of his life, had reached extraordinary heights in record speed, going from a fairly unknown SoundCloud artist to having multiple platinum songs and albums within 2 years. They were arriving in his hometown Chicago to celebrate his 21st birthday, but something tragic would occur upon the plane's landing. Due to intel of drugs and guns on the aircraft, police had arrived at the airport, ready to search the Gulfstream and its passengers, but during this procedure, Juice began to have a seizure, one so violent he wasn't able to be saved, because at 3:14 a.m., Jared Higgins was sadly pronounced dead.
And turn to the sudden and shocking death of rap star Juice WRLD. The 21-year-old who was named Billboard's...
I remember this day, bro. I woke up on a Sunday. As soon as I turn on the TV, I see the man's face. Talking about he died. Man, I was heartbroken. Like, oh, boy. I started playing all his songs throughout the rest of the year. Yeah, throughout the rest of the year. And it was only like, what, 20-some days? He done the 8th. Yeah, throughout Christmas, everything, bro, I was sad. I'm like, man, it's my favorite artist. Probably my favorite. Well, now it's kind of... I've grown, right? But bro was still like, you know what I mean? Bro was still that man. Dang.
Best New Artist this year suffered a medical emergency at Chicago's Midway Airport.
This morning, so many questions as to how a seemingly healthy 21-year-old could die so unexpectedly.
The toxicology report would reveal that his seizure was far from a random,
I don't know what any of these drugs are. Well, except promethazine. I know that, but... Damn. Damn, Juice. Shit.
Likely and unpredictable experience. Juice WRLD was a ticking time bomb. He had been taking a significantly unhealthy amount of drugs over a long period of time, until the point his body could no longer maintain itself. But this didn't come as a surprise to his fans, or anyone who really took the time out to seriously take in his music. Juice had constantly rapped lyrics alluding to his struggles with drugs.
Yeah, ain't gonna lie, that's another thing too. He was crying out for help for years. But like, me being young, I was dumb. I didn't know. I didn't know what really his songs really meant. And I think because his songs were so good to everybody else, he was helping everybody else, and he forgot he forgot how to help himself. And I think that's where, you know, because this is the way it happened, bro. As soon as everybody heard about it, bro, everybody just, you didn't even know what to say after that, bro.
And those around him had started to notice his habits turning deadly.
And then, like, we're really like, that tour was a big realization of how many pills he was actually doing, because people like don't realize, like, yeah, he would do pills, but like it wasn't that many at first when we were first starting hanging out. But then, like, towards the end, it was a lot. Right. The last few months there, where I'm like, this is starting to get out of control.
But how?
But usually, he would probably hide it because he didn't want to be judged for it. But then it got to the point it was being so much that he was letting other people see him do it because he didn't care no more. That's how you really gotta think about it.
Only 21 years of age does this happen to someone. How could such a deadly addiction take over his body in a seemingly short amount of time? And the question that played on my mind, and I assume many others, is why this happened despite no obvious trauma. He was raised in the suburbs, went to a relatively good school, and had all the talent to take over the world with his music. But this still happened. I wanted to understand why. I wanted to dissect his mind and try my best to understand his psychology. And what I found is that, in my opinion, Juice WRLD didn't stand a chance.
All my life, I've had like ADD, so my mom has been putting me on Vyvanse and Adderall.
That shit damn near ruined my childhood a little bit. Like,
he had therapy
because he had impulsive behavior. So
He definitely had like depression and stuff like that, and he would use drugs and not cope with things the right way, and use drugs to cope with things.
I'm not necessarily the most joyful person in the world, but that's one thing that does make me happy, making music.
How do you do lean knowing that it can kill you right away?
I mean, I feel like in today's society, the oxygen we breathe could kill us. Like, hearing that music at such a young age, nigga, I was trying to sip lean in 6th grade. Yeah.
Before you started getting famous, though, you were probably limited on money and resources in terms of getting fucked up, and then all of a sudden you got too much money.
I feel like when people do drugs, it separates their head from their body even more. It separates their soul from their body even more. Because your mind could be telling you, fuck no. Your mind could be telling you, hell no. But your body is dependent.
But I want you to describe that single and that track that we're playing right now.
I would tell myself to stay as far away from drugs as possible.
So like nobody heard this song and like wanted to talk to him or something? Like, it's like, yo, are you okay, man?
You think he wanted to die?
Can't answer that because it's like, damn. What's up, bro? There's no business being gone, bro, at all.
It's crucial for us to understand who Jared Higgins was before he was Juice WRLD, before the drugs, before the pain. He was born on December 2nd, 1998, to Carmela Wallace and Carl Higgins, but the two would divorce when Jared was 3 years old, and he'd spend the rest of his childhood raised by a single mother. Carmela was seemingly a great mother and gave him as good of an opportunity as she could have. In interviews, he's had nothing but good things to say about her.
I mean, she's like, I don't know, one of the proudest people ever. Like, she's like been my biggest supporter and cheerleader since birth. I love her to death for that, and trying to give her the world is part of the reason why I'm doing this shit.
Carmela moved them to a village in Illinois called Homewood, a suburb to the south of Chicago. Homewood has been reviewed as one of the nicest places to live in Illinois. Not only is it relatively safe and have good schooling, but it's also diverse. It's often rare for affluent and safe neighborhoods to have such a high African American population, but Carmela had done a good job in finding one in the hopes that he wouldn't be an outsider. Unfortunately, he'd still end up feeling like one, but it wasn't because of his race.
All my life, I've had like ADD, so my mom has been putting me on Vyvanse and Adderall, and I've been all the doctor's appointments. So it's the same shit. I always tested high, very intelligent person, but I wasn't one of them motherfuckers that could just sit in the classroom and just focus on the teacher talking to me.
Many times, Jared has referenced this quote-unquote ADD, although some people, especially from older generations, might still use that term. Since 1987, the condition has had its name changed to ADHD, Attention Deficit Hyperactivity Disorder. But they're the same diagnosis, just evolved. So when understanding what Jared was going through, ADHD provides that explanation. ADHD is a condition that affects how your brain works. It means that it's harder for you to control your attention or direct it to certain tasks. ADHD causes...
Do I got that?
Means that it's harder for you to control your attention or direct it to certain tasks.
Do I got that? Maybe a little bit. Cause I'll get sidetracked. Do you develop that or are you born? Are you born with it or do you develop it? Cause I don't know. I might have that. Okay.
ADHD causes symptoms like difficulty focusing, trouble sitting still, and impulsive behaviors.
Or it made a difficulty focusing.
But it also allows you to get in the zone and hyper-focus on things you really enjoy.
I might have that. Cause when I get in the stream, like editing all that, yeah, I might have ADHD. I just self-diagnosed myself.
ADHD symptoms fall into two big groups: inattention symptoms and hyperactivity impulsivity symptoms. I'll throw all of them on the screen, but inattention symptoms are things like avoiding tasks that require focusing for a long time, getting easily distracted.
These tests that require focusing on time. Let's pay attention to details, seemingly make mistakes. This is things you're supposed to do. Check on thoughts. Dang. I might have ADHD. Daydreaming when someone's directly talking. What? There's no way. Damn.
Distracted by things going on around you and starting a task but then getting sidetracked and not finishing it. Hyperactivity, impulsivity includes things like getting up when you're supposed to stay seated, having difficulty waiting your turn to do something.
Oh, okay. Well, I don't do this. Oh, maybe this seems like there's always an on the go or driven by motor. Speaks out of turn. Finishes a sentence. Ooh. I don't do that, but like, I really, you know what I'm saying? You start to think, a man who thinks a lot, you already know what somebody finna say most of the time, so I probably say that's true. Talks more than you expect. That's probably me, yeah.
Or speaking out of turn and finishing other people's sentences. So whilst these may seem like annoying traits if you're around someone with ADHD, you have to remember that they can't really control these impulses or traits, and they have to try extremely hard to suppress them. ADHD is genetic. That means a child is born with certain gene changes that cause differences in their brain development. Often the gene changes that cause ADHD are passed down within biology.
Oh, it's genetic. So that means somebody within my family is... Dang. So I wonder who I get it from.
Biological families. Jared got diagnosed with this in the 4th or 5th grade, and immediately he was put on medication that changed his whole personality.
They put you on anything for it?
For sure.
Adderall?
You know they love putting little kids on that shit.
Especially little black kids from the hood.
Of course.
I don't really agree with that shit, bro. I was in 5th grade getting diagnosed with ADD. How the fuck can you tell a 5th grader they have ADD? He's in fucking 5th grade. How is you supposed to act?
But it started out with Falkland. I've been on all that Falkland. What's the Ritalin, Vyvanse,
Shit going good, man.
Falkland, Ritalin, Vyvanse, and Adderall are all ADHD stimulants.
Share the stream.
What's interesting is that if you don't have ADHD and you take these, they can end up making you hyper, talkative, or jittery. When given to someone with ADHD, however, the result is paradoxical. An ADHD brain is often hunting for stimulation because its baseline dopamine levels are low. This feels like multiple thoughts running at once, being distracted, and being impulsive. These stimulants raise that baseline, which effectively shuts up that background noise.
So his ADHD would increase him to take more drugs? Or am I getting this wrong? And you're impulsive. So he would act impulsively by taking drugs. I'm really trying to understand. This is the breakdown of like all the things that happen that they try to, summarize. This is like it breaking it down. Because if that's the case, him being put on the medications at a young age would cause him to get addicted to that from the ADHD, which doubled the chances of him taking more drugs later in the future. Dang. Oh no.
It allows the person to pick one focus and stay on it.
I'm from Baltimore.
The meds also enhance the prefrontal cortex, so the person has an extra split second to think before doing something, like, should I really say that? Or, let me finish this before I start that. But also importantly, they change emotional regulation, so the person isn't as reactive to stress or frustration, and it lowers impulsivity. Impulsivity was a big part of Jared's ADHD, based on how Carmela described him.
In high school, he had therapy because he had impulsive behavior, so I had him see a psychologist.
But back then, when he was 15, what were you seeing that concerned you as a mom?
Impulsiveness. It was just that self-control that he just didn't have.
But the issue with this medication is that when given the wrong dosage or type, it can make you feel docile and sort of empty, like you have no personality. This happened to Jared, and within a year of being put on the meds, he voluntarily stopped taking them.
How did you start taking it?
I really stopped taking it on my own even before my mama knew. She used to pack it with my breakfast, and then she'd have my pills wrapped up, and then I'm supposed to take them after I eat. I used to just throw them away. When was that, like 5th, 6th grade? But I did not like the way that shit made me feel. You know, you took the pill, and for like 15 minutes, you like, all your personality is like enhanced. Like you're all social, class clown, laughing. After the 15 minutes is over, 15 minutes pass, and then all my personality would be gone.
Crash.
And I'd be like a zombie. That shit damn near ruined my childhood a little bit. Like, ain't ruined it, but it made it less enjoyable because that shit kill your personality.
But although it's completely understandable that no one would want to feel like that, stopping his meds may have opened the door for other issues to seep through. Amongst others like low self-esteem and not reaching your full potential, an increased risk of developing substance use disorder is also a noted complication. ADHD is fundamentally a dopamine insufficiency problem. The brain's reward circuitry doesn't fire at baseline the way a neurotypical brain does. Substances like opioids, alcohol, and stimulants flood the dopamine system artificially. For someone with ADHD, that hit temporarily corrects a chronic neurological deficit. The brain recognizes it as a relief, which makes the reinforcement loop significantly stronger than it would for someone without ADHD. One of the core ADHD traits is weakened impulse control, specifically the ability to pause between urge and action. The same deficit that makes it hard to sit still in class makes it harder to stop at just one pill or to not reach for a substance when emotionally dysregulated.
Damn, I was right. So, how would he know to stop taking the pill? Because he was feeling, he said he ain't like the way it made him feel. So he stopped it. But then once he got introduced to other, shit. Hey, boy. I really stream wherever I can. You can also find me on YouTube also. Like, if you miss a stream, go to my YouTube. The links usually be there. But yeah, mostly Friday. I'm always gonna get a stream from me. Usually later at night, but now I'm home early today. But yeah, once later down the line, we're gonna probably start streaming almost every day.
ADHD brains tend to experience emotions more intensely and have less capacity to regulate them. Substances are an immediately effective regulation tool. People with unmanaged ADHD often start using substances earlier because they're already dysregulated and seeking relief before they have the maturity or resources to find healthier outlets. Earlier onset significantly increases the likelihood of substance dependency developing, and Jared was in the 4th grade. A big misconception I've seen around is Juice had to take meds like Adderall and d.i.f.f.e.r.e.n.t, so that made him susceptible to drug use. And whilst that might seem like it makes some sort of sense as a passing comment, it's completely wrong, and actually the evidence would suggest the opposite. Studies consistently show that children with ADHD who receive appropriate stimulant medication treatment during childhood actually have a lower risk of developing substance use disorders later, not higher. The science logic is that properly managed ADHD, where the dopamine dysregulation is being addressed, reduces the neurological pressure to self-medicate. So ironically, what Jared says in that Breakfast Club interview provides us with extremely telling evidence that his decision to go against his order to take his meds in the 5th or 6th grade would have increased his likelihood of falling into substance abuse. You might be thinking, yeah, this sounds good in theory, but how is a kid in 6th grade going to start using substances? But unfortunately, that's exactly what would start happening.
Damn, bro. That's crazy.
So like 6th, 7th grade, I was hooping, I was playing baseball. I was good at both at the time. But I was also like freestyling, and I was really into music. Like I used to damn near worship this shit, like I was into music so much. So my family putting me on to all this different music, Future, Gucci, all these niggas talking about drugs.
At around 11 years old, an impulsive Jared had fallen into exactly what Carmela feared. She had already tried to prevent him listening to hip-hop as a kid, maybe just because of her taste, but perhaps because of the bad influences it contains. Whether violent crime, sleeping with lots of women, or selling drugs, Hip-hop has a tendency to glorify certain degenerate activities. This can make easily influenced listeners aspire to pursue these activities, and one of them, for certain rappers, was drug use.
You can't help but ignore how fun or how interesting, at least, they're making Xans and Lean and all this shit sound.
Yeah, bro. Like, when I heard Future, the first song I ever heard by Future was Ain't No Way Around It. The second song I've ever heard by Future, Dirty Sprite. Like, off the first Dirty Sprite mixtape.
Mm-hmm.
And that shit had me wanting to sip Lean at like 11, 12 years old, bro.
Yeah.
Jared says the song Dirty Sprite by Future was the catalyst for the Juice WRLD we'd later know. And looking at the lyrics of that song, it amazes me how something so degenerate and deadly can be portrayed in such an attractive way. Future starts out the song by shouting out Pimp C, DJ Screw, and Big Hawk. These were all figures of hip-hop who popularized a certain drink. Lean is the combination of prescription-strength cough syrup containing codeine and promethazine, a soft drink such as Sprite, and sometimes candy. Both Pimp C and DJ Screw had died from complications related to it, yet Future still proceeds to glorify it in this song. He states he drinks Lean for breakfast, that it's his favorite drink and it tastes like Kool-Aid, that he can't get enough of it and he's willing to drink it until he overdoses. Somehow, someway, after getting inspired, Jared was able to get his hands on it, despite it being relatively expensive, especially for someone his age. Lean isn't used with regular off-the-shelf cough medicine. It's a specific formula that uses those mentioned opioids and is significantly stronger. Because of its price, he probably wasn't accessing it that much at that age.
It's a good thing, because think about how burnt out I'd be if I had the resources to get high you know what I'm saying? Think about how, especially you discovering something new, you want as much as that as possible. All this shit got you feeling like, you know what I'm saying? Like.
So over the next few years, he started taking Percocets as well. These are also opioids like Lean, but come in a pill form and are cheaper, but also just as addictive.
Coming from somebody that's in that shit, for the niggas that's really doing it, it wasn't because of a trend. Like, motherfuckers is really addicted out here. Like, it wasn't because of, like, for example, my freshman year, I ran into some Percocets my freshman year, 14, 15 years old, 13, 14, whatever the fuck the age. I ran into some Percocets my freshman year.
In the hood and shit, niggas don't know that it's an opiate. But then after a while, you drink so much, then they want to take perks. Yeah. Then they want to start taking Percocets. And then they don't know why they like the perks and now they're addicted to perks.
He also started taking Xanax, which aren't opioids but cause a similar effect of sedation, anxiety relief, and muscle relaxation. How much and how often he was taking these drugs during his early teenage years is information I don't have. But one thing for sure is by taking them regularly, he was setting himself up for addiction. It's crazy that this was primarily being fueled because the rap music he was listening to made him curious. But this is actually one of the more common reasons drugs like Lean get desired and addicted to.
And you have really good-looking rappers who's got all the honeys, who's got all the girls, you know, and he's drinking this. He's always got a white styrofoam cup in his hand, and he's on this. Then maybe if I do that, I'll get the honeys, I'll get the Lambo, I'll get the Maserati, you know, things of that nature. They're making that association even if that association is not really real.
Then on top of being seen as cool, it allegedly tastes nice, making you feel euphoric and carefree, and it spikes your dopamine, all catalysts for you to get addicted. Jared then had to go through high school like this, frequently high, but at the same time he was honing his real craft, freestyling.
Who is this? Hey. You exist? Nah, not to me. I'm R. Kelly, nigga. You can get the piss. Hey, Caleb. Signs like you deaf or something. That's okay. I be on the beat, spinning fast like Crystal left or something. Really is nothing. Making assumptions is nothing. Make you gonna put you in the oven for no reason or something. I'm the best at it. Yes, I'm the best at it. I got some bad habits.
Topic-wise, you talk about drugs a lot. When and what situations do you do them?
When I was experimenting with stuff, I was wild. It was random. Not condoning this or nothing. I used to walk through high school like that, in the studios like that. I just like the feeling of it, you know?
He started uploading his music to SoundCloud under the name Juice the Kid. But 2 years passed and he hadn't found success, and it was time to apply for college, one place he didn't want to attend. He actually describes this as the lowest point of his life.
The lowest point I was at was when it felt like my music wasn't going to where I wanted it to go, and my grades were fucked up in high school, and it was time for colleges to start looking at motherfuckers. I'd be sitting in my room just going crazy over this shit.
He eventually changed his name to Juice WRLD and kept trying to succeed in music. But obviously, the one thing he didn't mention in this answer is how much the drugs would have been ruining him. Before we get into that, this video is sponsored by Luma AI. So you know how with most
Get your bread, folks. But now my favorite game, FIFA though, or Fortnite, I guess. I don't know.
Links in the description. Go check it out. LumaLabs.ai. So, what does years of opioid use actually do to someone? Jared's opioid use is the primary factor for why he isn't here today. But understanding how it captured him is crucial for also understanding how this stopped being as much of a choice and more of a possession over him. Opioid use disorder, or OUD, is a specific substance use disorder where an ongoing pattern of opioid use affects your health and quality of life. Now, as mentioned, the ingredients in the cough medicine used in lean are types of opioids, and perks are also opioids. A doctor might prescribe opioids for a certain issue or pain, but a primary feature of them is that they also cause your body to produce dopamine and endorphins. Endorphins reduce your pain, and dopamine increases your pleasure. So for the brief moment that the drugs are in your system, the feeling is pure euphoria, and when it wears off, the reality of life sets back in, and you crave that hit again. Opioid use disorder occurs when you have an overpowering drive to use opioids despite their risks. The main risk is building up a tolerance, causing you to take a higher quantity to the point where your body can't handle them, or getting to a point where you get such bad withdrawal symptoms that it physically pains you to try and stop.
I was going through lean withdrawals. Oh, that's... And I fucking, like, I was in the bed and I shit the bed. I shit the bed. You run off bad.
What? Hold on, he ain't said that. Hold on.
I was in the bed and I shit the bed. I shit the bed. You run off bad when you stop doing that shit, bro.
That's crazy.
Run off.
One of my favorite videos ever made regarding addiction.
Man, hell, hold on. So if you stop taking it, like, damn, imagine what that does do to your stomach. Oh no.
Is on YouTube titled Nuggets. You have the bird character thing and it's just wandering through life and it sees a golden nugget. The first time it walks past it but gets curious. The second time he runs into it, he bites on the curiosity and tries it. This gets him super high and he flies and it's amazing. Then he lands and he continues through life, taking the nugget at every opportunity. He then gets to the point where he's actively running to find the next nugget. All the while he's taking them, the world around him when he's not on the high is starting to get darker. His body is starting to get weaker, and it gets to a point where he's no longer taking them to feel high. He's taking them so he can feel normal again, just to reach baseline. Eventually it consumes him too much, and by the end, he can't even muster up the energy to try the next one. This is very realistic for serious addiction. Our brains are amazing and complex, but also a bit too logical.
He was too deep.
They don't apply context. They only care about efficiency and survival. The basis of that is dopamine, something the brain wants a lot of and wants it without difficulty. There's an explanation of dopamine I heard from entrepreneur Alex Becker years ago that made it really easy to understand. Think of the dopamine system as zeros and ones. Zeros are the work and effort needed before getting the dopamine. Ones are the release of dopamine and how much gets released. So for example, let's say making this video, the weeks of research, the scripting, the editing, the thumbnail making 2 different versions for YouTube and Patreon. There's a lot of zeros, and the amount of ones might depend on how nice you guys are in the comments and how many views this video gets. But if I go on the PS5 and start playing a game and winning, the effort to go on the PS5 is barely any zeros. So let's say hypothetically the video flopped, it wouldn't have released a lot of ones. So the brain will essentially push me to keep playing video games and spend less time making videos. This is the case for a lot of people with social media.
Okay. So whatever work you're gonna do, well, I mean, that's with everything, right? Whatever job makes you more money, that's the job you're gonna work. Whatever video idea hits the best, you're gonna keep that as a series. Like, that's just common. That's really just common sense. But like, in this case, it was more of a, I gotta get back to that high where I was so bad that I just gotta keep doing it. That's crazy, bro. That's crazy.
Media, junk food, pornography, smoking, drinking. You know what's good for you and what's bad for you. You have the context that abstaining from these things is going to take you further in life. But your brain has no context and keeps trying to get you to pursue those things to get the easy hit of dopamine. So unless you implement discipline and adjust your environment so addiction is less accessible, it will do what it did to the bird. It will make normal life seem dark and depressing and keep you chasing those nuggets. So now imagine that, but on an even stronger level with Jared's opioid addiction.
Well, I feel like when people do drugs, it separates their head from their body even more. It separates their soul from their body even more. Because your mind could be telling you, fuck no. Your mind could be telling you, hell no. But your body is dependent. Tear you apart.
It's a battle between the mind and the flesh.
Yeah, exactly. It could tear you apart, fucking with that shit.
So you couldn't function without it?
I couldn't function without it. Like, I had to drink lean every day. I had to pop pills. I had to do this shit to eat food, to like, I say a lot of times, like, I used to really be in rooms and I wasn't there because mentally my brain is somewhere else.
How do you do lean knowing that like it can kill you right away? Like,
I mean, I feel like in today's society, the oxygen we breathe could kill us. Like, it depends on your usage, bro. Like, some people could drink casually, sip casually all their lives and be perfectly okay. But you have those people that take it to the extreme.
We ain't thinking about the drugs we taking and we just taking them. We ain't thinking twice about that shit. We coming up from nothing. This some shit we was doing back when we was fucked up and broke just to maintain.
It's crazy because a lot of people try to understand, but they don't go through it, so they don't get it. That going through that shit alone, man, you would be thinking shit you never thought you would have thought in your life. Going through shit like that alone make you want to kill yourself.
One way that Jared would later frame it in his lyrics was, I stopped taking the drugs and now the drugs take me. He went from someone who tried drugs because they were cool and wanted to feel a high to a point where the drugs became his master and demanded he take them multiple times a day. And it wasn't like it stayed oblivious to him. He was clearly aware he was getting addicted to drugs, but still couldn't stop himself. And the thing that became a double-edged sword was his newfound music success. So far we've covered everything before he actually blew up with music, before he had millions of dollars, before he had unlimited access. And I believe his OUD was already underway and only got worse after his music career took off. Because when you add his success and money into the mix, it creates the issue of accessibility. Every addiction is harder to fuel when it's less accessible. So when the opposite occurs, it's like a fast track to disaster.
Before you started getting famous, though, you were probably limited on money and resources in terms of getting fucked up. And then all of a sudden you got too much money.
Thing, no?
It don't make it no better when you got money.
Right. Yeah, because you got access to it now.
Access to it, you feel what I'm saying? So it's like, I'm going through pints and pints of lean and going through 100 pills a month. Like, damn. Like that.
Lean is pretty expensive. A popular streamer called Silky opened up about his lean addiction and said at his worst he was spending $50,000 to $80,000 a month.
It was getting down to the point where I was spending like at least like, I'd say anywhere around like 50 to like 80K a month.
What?
Yes, bro. It was
on lean?
Yes, bro.
Rapper Lil Baby said that he was spending
Bro, a lot of these people already killing themselves. Like, nah, some of these dudes is already, like, they finished. Like, or am I lying? Because, bro just said pints of, you know how much a pint, bro? Oh my God. 50 bands to 80 bands on a drink? Oh no. Oh no. Oh no. I ain't gonna lie. How do you even get access to? Ain't that a prescription? That should not just be something you can go out and buy, bro. That's crazy, bro.
$4,000 to $5,000 a week.
I'm a drinker. You know what I'm saying? I don't see. I drink like. You know what I'm saying?
Heavy?
Heavy, like heavy, like. Probably spend like $4,000 to $5,000 a week on lean.
4,000 or 5,000.
Oh no, bro. Nah, folks.
1,000 on lean.
Yeah.
So Jared, being in high school, would have been limited to how much he could satisfy his addiction. After graduating high school, he attempted working a job for 2 to 3 weeks at a car parts maker. Around the same time, June 15th, 2017, he released an EP on SoundCloud titled Juice WRLD 999.
Thank everybody who supported me, and y'all have a lot to look forward to because some great things are coming pretty fucking soon. I'm really hyped and really stoked and just really pumped up. I'm gonna get his music shit all I got and see where it gets me, so.
And this contained the legendary song Lucid Dreams, the song that would, over the next year, catapult him into worldwide stardom and become his biggest song to date. Only 9 months of releasing that EP, he was signing a $3 million deal with Interscope Records, and every radio show wanted his interview.
I got Juice WRLD in the building.
Yo, what's good? What's poppin'?
What's going on, man?
Man, nothing much, bro.
There's a line you recently said, too, that impacted a lot of people. We're not going to make it till 21. You don't feel that way, do you? Or do you honestly feel that way?
I feel like everybody dying young, you know what I'm saying? Not foreshadowing anything or wishing that upon myself.
Where are you at now when it comes to, either Xan popping, pill popping, whatever it may be? Where's Juice WRLD at now?
I mean, Xans are horrible. I think that's worse than crack.
In one of his interviews, clearly off drugs, slurring his words, he literally dozes off mid-interview.
It's some good stuff.
And the interview should have been stopped. So the fact that they kept going, like, a lot of these people were exploiting his addiction for their own content gain. And that's the messed up part about all this, bro. Because I ain't gonna lie, the man was crying out for years that long and was number one. So, like, you knew who he was. You knew what he was doing. You know he was going, and you did not say, yo, chill out. Like, and yes, everybody's their own man, but at the same time, all it takes is like a little talking to somebody to get through them, bro. Like, him being that young, he was not that stubborn to where you couldn't speak to him. Because he got himself off of ADHD. I don't know. It's just a lot. It's a lot of compact, and then you put it all in one. It's like, bro, this really could have been. He should be alive today. He should be alive today, and he would probably still be number one. Imagine all the people he could work with right now. Nino Pay, like, bro, and help them too.
It's not just
crazy,
fluff.
Bro.
It's like a lot. Sounds like a lot of heart gone into it. I want you to describe that single and that track that we're playing right now.
Him dozing off was due to those opioids in the system, giving him that high euphoric feeling, but because of the increasing amount he was taking, it was causing him to do things like this. When you correlate the timelines, this pre-existing but expensive addiction, newfound success, and then millions of dollars, I can only assume his consumption was increasing like crazy. He was also constantly on the move, for interviews, for recording, for traveling. He said he hadn't slept for days.
Popping.
Everything, brother. How you feeling?
Man, I haven't been sleeping like 3-4 days.
This is important because the hectic lifestyle would have stressed him out, but instead of feeling that stress and asking his team to slow down, he could just pop perks or sip lean and not have to feel it as much.
The whole mix, how everything hit him all at once, because like once you start getting so much money, you can start doing so many things, and so many things start coming at you at one time, you feel me? So it's like, how do you even know how to control some shit like that?
But Juice wasn't just running from stress and work. I believe he was running from something much deeper. Clinical depression, also known as major depressive disorder, is a mental health condition that causes a persistently low or depressed mood and a loss of interest in activities that once brought joy. Depression is a term that gets thrown around quite casually these days, but understand that feeling sad after a difficult life situation such as losing your job or breaking up with a partner or any unfortunate circumstance is normal. That isn't actual depression. Clinical depression persists practically every day and involves more symptoms than just sadness alone. Low energy and fatigue, feeling worthless, thoughts of death, amongst others. Researchers don't know the exact cause of clinical depression. They think that several factors contribute to its development, including genetics, brain chemistry, childhood experiences, and stressful life events. I feel like many people see depression as that person's life was hard and they experienced bad things, so they developed depression, when it's often more of a genetic thing. These people always look for a cause of the depression in others. This results in judgment, especially for celebrities. Why are they depressed? Their life is good. They have money and success. This can lead to a sense of embarrassment and questioning your
money is not. I hate that, bro. That because a man got money, he can't feel sometimes. Like, what? He can't be a human. That literally makes no sense. Because you have money and I don't, we can both feel sad, but you can't because you got money. Like, that makes no sense. Like, what are we talking about?
Yourself, not understanding why you feel the way you do. One good listen through Juice WRLD's discography and you can hear how depressed he really was. I pop perks to numb the pain because it hurts to live. I gotta admit myself, I'm on these drugs, feel like I can't save myself. Sometimes I wanna take myself and break myself so I can reshape myself. Nobody's ever felt the pain I felt. This is the part where I tell you I'm fine, but I'm lying, I just don't want you to worry. My world revolves around a black hole, the same black hole that's in place of my soul. One of my favorites because of the weight behind it is, it's been months since I felt at home, but it's okay cause I'm rich, psych, I'm still sad as a bitch, right? It goes against the assumption that money buys happiness in such a deflated but sarcastic way. It's like, don't worry guys, I should be super happy, right? After all, I do have lots of money and lots of success. My name is on billboards and I have so many fans, so much designer clothes, I can travel everywhere, I can buy any car I want, any piece of jewelry. Happiness should be a given. But then when he says psych, it's like realizing that that notion is all a facade. Money buys stability. It buys a sense of freedom from the free.
Thank you. Stability. That's why people say, I want to be financially stable, not financially happy. That's not a thing. That is not a thing. Financially stable. Nobody says I want to be financially happy. That doesn't even make sense. Because some of that money you're going to use to pay taxes. You're going to use to pay insurances. How can you be financially happy if you got to give you got to give it away? You're not going to be financially happy that you got to pay thousands of dollars in tax. That don't work. That don't work. Like, I don't know, man. Hold on, chat. I fuck chat. But yeah. Like, bro, it makes me mad when people. Money is not the key to all happiness, bro. That's a proven fact. And we seen it. You literally seen it, bro.
Frequent struggles of the working class, such as rent and bills and childcare, etc. It allows you to have experiences you might have not had without it, sure, but you can't buy a ticket to happiness. Not to get too spiritual on you guys because this is a psychology video, but happiness, in my opinion, comes from contentment. Contentment is essentially the ability to find peace regardless of your situation. You feel the same way internally whether you have something you desire or not. As soon as you try to place your happiness or peace on something external or materialistic, you lose the game and end up on a never-ending chase. When I'm rich, I'll be at peace. When I get my dream car, I'll be happy. These things are similar to beliefs that many people have, and even Jared.
You gotta pay that car insurance. More money, more problems. That's literally, it's literally how it's set, bro. That's literally how the saying goes. More money, more problems. You just gotta make sure them problems don't hit you that bad, and you do your best to live life at peace. Literally.
Seemingly misunderstood this. He didn't realize his depression was something internal and wasn't linked to his lack of success or any sort of poverty. In multiple interviews I've seen from him, he seems to look down on the idea of a 9-to-5 or working a job that doesn't pay well.
Sometimes people's lives, it could be for you looking at it from the outside, but they might have a great life. Like, just, I don't know, some people do feel like that.
A great life.
I get what
he's saying. He's saying they settled.
Yeah.
They probably didn't even have no bigger dreams.
You know, because what if they have a great life at home, things are taken care of.
So they're just doing that shit for fun.
Not for fun, but what I'm saying, obviously they're doing it to make money.
Somebody that goes to like a D1 college, they spend all this money, right, to get a degree. They don't even do the shit that they got the degree for, and then they work in the office job every day until they die. He is in that.
Thank you. Sorry, that's just that'd be my thought process sometimes, bro. I ain't gonna lie.
Abyss, or she is in the abyss.
But in the Breakfast Club interview, Angela tries to let him know that although those people might not be millionaires, although they might be working till they die, they could still be happy.
You know what?
I'm cool, bro.
Think about all these people we know who we look at from the outside like, oh, they're rich, they're financially secure, they're great, and then they're really miserable. Because some people, money doesn't equal happiness at all.
Shit.
He seems to struggle to understand that people working for a minimum wage can still be at peace. They could have a family.
Of course they can. But that's not everybody, because what Michael Beasley said, there are some people in life that God just made better. And you know you are known for better, therefore you can't really be trying to do the same things as everybody else. So in that instance of thought, to know like, okay, this is my life. But it's not even greed. You can't even look at it as greed either. If somebody wants more for their life and they're willing to work for it, that shouldn't be something that's shunned down or, talked down upon too. Of course it's going to be hard. I was talking to my teacher yesterday. He said having your own type of, company thing, it's stressful. But, like, you know what I'm saying? Because he's about to leave teaching and just work on his company. Entrepreneur. So, like, yeah, he said, yeah, it's stressful, but I'm my own boss. And I think 9 times out of 10, people would like to tell other people what to do rather than being told what to do. Like, that's just common
that loves them unconditionally, and that's all they need. And then on the other hand, there's many millionaires and celebrities that take their own lives due to depression. Robin Williams, Kurt Cobain, Avicii.
Damn, bro. I was so confused. Ooh. I got trash. I was really confused on this one because they still don't really know what happened with him. But damn, bro.
I see Jared struggling to fathom this, and I believe that that's because it doesn't compute in his equation. He's grown up believing that his state of unhappiness and depression will disappear when he has money and success. So the idea that he's still sad as a millionaire and 9-to-5 workers on minimum wage are happy and at peace is a reality he doesn't want to accept. But in this song, it seems he is accepting that notion. He's going against that belief. His money only made his addiction worse and led to more sadness. So he's letting people know this. Such a short and simple line, but so much lesson behind it.
When you a fan of this shit, you look at it a certain way and from a certain perspective, but then when you in this shit, you see it for what it really is. Right. You know? It's sad. I don't know, it make you not want to, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's not what it looked like.
So when people tried to understand why Juice was depressed, I don't even think he knew.
If y'all help me through the shit I'll go through, I'll deal with anxiety and depression and all that shit. Just because you got money don't mean that shit don't solve nothing. Money is the answer to certain problems, but it is not the answer to those type of problems. I'm not necessarily the most joyful person in the world, but that's one thing that does make me happy, making music.
He definitely had a substance abuse problem, and he definitely had like depression and stuff like that, and he would use drugs and not cope with things the right way and use drugs to cope with things.
I don't personally believe Jared was suicidal, but he became indifferent to death, or indifferent to the idea of death. More like, if I die, it is what it is. He didn't have a desire to deliberately end his life, but he also didn't take any caution with his drug use as he'd lost the ability to comprehend death, in my opinion. The idea of withdrawal and having to confront depression without drugs seemed like a much harder task than just closing your eyes and having no consciousness forever. What's also really interesting is that ADHD has a very strong correlation with depression. Roughly 30 to 50% of people with ADHD will develop a depressive disorder at some point in their life, compared to around 7 to 10% of the general population. This is due to a mix of genetic reasons, but also environmental reasons. They have a shared neurological basis, as both conditions involve dopamine and norepinephrine dysregulation. But also, children with ADHD constantly underperform relative to their actual intelligence. They struggle socially, get labeled as disruptive or lazy, and receive chronic negative feedback from teachers, parents, and peers. That sustained experience of falling short despite effort is a reliable pathway to depressive cognition, worthlessness, hopelessness, and self-blame. In my opinion, he most certainly experienced clinical depression. He had a sadness he couldn't quite explain and hoped either drugs or success could have fixed. I believe his ADHD was a massive driver for his depression. The neurological basis already makes it a strong possibility to develop depression without the need for explanation, but he also reports how he felt intelligent but couldn't focus in school, so he developed an identity of failure and I'm not good enough.
The first time I wrote a song was in 5th grade. It was during study hall. I couldn't just sit there and do my work, so I did something else.
And focus like in school. He hated school. Very, very smart. But he didn't like the idea of school, so it was always a struggle with him in school and, skipping school, skipping classes, so I always had to have a plan for him.
I think in high school I wasn't eligible with some shit when it came to tryouts.
His mom must have went through a lot, bro. If that's the case, because, dang, bro, life is something, bro. Your mind can either be your biggest success or your worst failure, bro.
The grades?
Hell yeah. I always tested high. Very, very intelligent person. But I wasn't one of them motherfuckers that could just sit in the classroom and just focus on the teacher talking to me. I couldn't do that.
This was accelerated by his opioid use. He may have used it out of intrigue or self-medication, but once it started messing with his dopamine reward pathway, it started to bridge a gap between Jared being good and Jared being depressed. The more drugs he took, the more depressed he became without them, so the more he felt like he needed them, and that cycle continued. Just like the bird, his world got darker and darker. The worst part is that everyone saw his success and looked past the seriousness of his issues.
Bro, so nobody heard this song and like wanted to talk to him or something? Like, how do you hear this and be like, yo, this shit fire, bruh? When the album dropping? It's like, yo, are you okay, man? Like, hold on, just stop for a second. Let's just take a break. Let's just go somewhere.
Juice actually acknowledged this in his music, pointing out how it was a mix of both him downplaying his issues, but also people not noticing. This is the part where I tell you I'm fine, but I'm lying. I just don't want you to worry. This is the part where I take all my feelings and hide them because I don't want nobody to hurt me. They tell me they care. They're just in love with the music, so they'll never know about the pain I go through. Everyone is happy to sit around listening to him talking about depressing subjects as long as it sounds good. He needed real accountability and people campaigning to put down the drugs rather than monetizing it. But this is due to a lack of education around these subjects. Everyone is happy to get surface level around topics like anxiety and depression, but going deeper is something only a certain few do. I think YouTuber Sean C put it best.
Why is it that people are so drawn to 3 and 4 minute songs about depression and love and mental stress and anxiety, but aren't drawn towards, think pieces about the subject and aren't drawn towards deep dives into what these things actually mean and how they can affect you?
There did eventually become a point where people around him did try to...
Nobody cares about the process. They only care about the result.
...to step in, but it might have been too late.
I'm telling you, bro. I learned that the hard way.
Okay, and the Billboard Music Award goes to Juice WRLD.
Wow. It's crazy all the stuff that could happen in a year.
Juice WRLD in 2019 was a global star. In March, he'd released his album d.i.f.f.e.r.e.n.t. Despite mixed reviews from critics, the album was commercially as successful as it could have been, debuting at #1 on the Billboard 200. During this time, he'd been in a relationship with Ali Lottie. She was about 6 years older than Jared, and he was super in love with her during their time together. So much so that he vowed to stop taking lean for her as she was concerned. "Bae, I'm sorry I be tweaking. You've put up with more than people know. I know I be scaring you. Fuck codeine, I'm done. I love you and I'm letting it be known publicly that shit ain't fucking up the real love I found. Learn from this, everyone. Addiction kills all, but you can overcome." This was backed up by his videographer and assistant Chris Long, who said Ali banned lean from the house.
But after a while, his girlfriend really wanted him to stop. And it's like, it's good if she was like bringing the hammer down on that, like, I don't want him doing lean at all, and like she didn't want him like mixing the drugs. That was the problem, so the consumption of lean went down a lot.
Not allowed anymore in this house or anything, so that's the reason why
But despite the public claims and declaration of love, quitting an addiction that strong isn't so simple. Willpower alone almost never prevails.
So Ali was pretty strict about that. But of course he would still do it, and he would hide it.
Like I said, I'm telling you, I'm telling you, I predicted that from the start. He was hiding it at first because he didn't want to be judged, but it got so much that he just didn't care no more. I'm telling you, bro. Damn, bro.
When he did get it, he would always be like, go pour me up this. You know what I mean? Go take it up. And he'd have to hide it in something. Wait till Ali's asleep and stuff.
At the peak of his success...
Wait, they was helping him?
He'd have to hide it in something. Wait till Ali's asleep. And he would hide it. And when he did get it, he would always be like, go pour me up this.
Who's he talking to, though? If he was talking to yo,
you know man, this, he was seemingly at the peak of his addiction also. Now, if you're on the YouTube version of this video, this chapter is going to be a bit shorter than what's on Patreon. That's because I want to show you the reality of what his addiction looked like in its final stages. The footage, the
He had bad people around him. That's another thing, too. I ain't gonna lie. You gotta say it. He should not be dead. 21, bro. 21. He's not gang affiliated. Bro, grew up in the suburbs. Bro, was global superstar. How is he? Bro, could have bro, at least a little under or at least equal to Michael Jackson, bro. In this time, he could have been our Michael Jackson of like rap or just different types of music. Like, bro.
Perfect reality, his friends' accounts, the actual scale of what he was consuming daily.
Like, look at this. There's no way one man should be intaking all of this at one time. Or you would double. Jesus Christ. Nah, fam. I ain't gonna lie.
And what that meant was happening inside. I think you need to see it to truly understand how we got to December 8th. But that content will get this video restricted, which means a lot of people who will need to hear the story simply won't find it. So on YouTube, I'm going to do my best to give you the full picture without the visuals and without the full explanation. If you want the uncut version, the Patreon link is in the description. But if not, here's what you do need to know. Jared's drug consumption got so bad, his closest members had to do an intervention and book him into rehab.
And Pete pulled him aside, kind of did the same thing, pulled him in a room and talked to him. And that's when it was decided that, like, you're gonna go to rehab.
Rehab had to be booked in because he was simply consuming an amount that went from he should stop taking drugs because they aren't good for him to if he doesn't stop and go to rehab, he won't see another year. When addiction gets to a serious level, you consume or indulge purely out of automation rather than the genuine desire to do so. From the evidence I've seen, Jared genuinely got to the point where he was consuming a large amount on autopilot. Unbeknownst to a lot of people, opioids actually have a relatively low euphoric ceiling, meaning that taking a lot doesn't actually give you a bigger high. It just means more side effects and more risk. But because of his super high tolerance, he had to consume that much just to get the same feeling he did taking one back in the day. And of course, the body is only able to handle so much. Jared knew the dangers of what he was doing. He wasn't oblivious. In his song Righteous, he says, "We may die this evening, coughing, wheezing, bleeding." In many of his interviews, he made it clear that he knows these drugs are deadly, just like Future did in his music by acknowledging those who passed away from opioid-related issues. But he was simply too far gone. Rehab was the only option, and as mentioned, it was booked in for the latter half of December. Fellow Chicago rapper G Herbo details what rehab is like when addicted to opioids.
It was like a 7-8 day process. You get out, they flush out everything out your system. You on IV, so you don't got to go through the withdrawals. That's another thing. Like when you drinking lean and popping pills and perks and all that shit.
They gotta take it out your blood. Yo.
The withdrawals worse than it's worse than anything in the world. You don't even want to feel it.
Carmela claimed his consumption had gone down and believed he'd actually stopped lean entirely.
You said that before his passing, he told you that he made the decision to get professional help.
Mm-hmm. He did.
Was he ready to go to rehab?
He sounded like it. He wasn't doing the lean anymore. I could tell it was a difference in him, that he wasn't doing the lean. I think he was still doing pills, but he told me he was ready to get help.
But the reality is, he wasn't well and still needed his drugs to cope. In November, he tweeted, "My brain is my own worst nightmare. It could be the death of me easily if I didn't somewhat know my way around it." On the 7th of December, according to Chris Long, he did consume a large amount and was continuing to consume throughout the day. In the early hours of the next day, Jared and his crew were landing after flying from LA to Chicago to celebrate his 21st birthday, which was a few days prior. But as they got closer, when their phones regained service, they got a message from their head of security to say that police were waiting for them in the lobby for when they land. The crew had guns and drugs on them, which would have landed them in big trouble, but the stories get a bit blended here. There's a lot of speculation that Jared panicked and consumed his pills to avoid getting caught with them. Chris Long, who was there, says that this isn't true, and he was actually quite nonchalant about the whole situation.
Someone else held the duffel bag and had all of it. Like, he knew he wasn't gonna get in trouble. He had people around him that are gonna take care of. And his manager, G Money, walks up to him. They're both just like, we're all good. You're like, yeah, or they like high five each other. Like, don't worry, we're all good. Everything's gonna be cool.
But regardless, there were an enormous amount of opioids in Jared's system at the time, and he would end up having a seizure. This wasn't an overdose. There was physically just so much in his system for so long that his...
So they lied in the news. Yo. Nah, he had a terrible entourage. I'm sorry.
body couldn't process it. Instead of thinking of it as a there and then overdose, think of it as an overdose over time. Something that was building and needed to be stopped.
I couldn't look away.
I'm so sorry.
I didn't want him to like look up and not think we were there. So, and when I looked at him in the eyes, it's like you could see that he wasn't there.
And at around 3:14 a.m., Jared Higgins would be pronounced dead, 14 days before his rehab date.
Just, you know, handcuffed to the fucking wall, and this two detectives just walked in, and they're like, literally verbatim, they're like, we don't give a shit about anything else. We just want to know about the kid that died. And I was like, what? I'm like, who died?
That is so heartless.
And turn to the sudden and shocking death of rap star Juice WRLD. The 21-year-old who is now...
This is the same news report. I clicked the remote. I changed the channel one time. I swear this was the first thing I seen. I still remember that day. Had a bowl of cereal in my... Man, boy.
Named Billboard's Best New Artist this year suffered a medical emergency at Chicago's Midway Airport.
This morning, so many questions as to how a seemingly healthy 21-year-old could die so unexpectedly.
Where am I at? I'm in paradise. I'm actually FaceTiming, not FaceTiming, I'm slow. I'm on Instagram Live from heaven.
I don't think Jared wanted this outcome. Like I said, I don't think he literally considered ending his own life, but I do think he'd become indifferent with the idea of death. He wasn't going to press the button, but if coincidentally it ended, that prospect didn't fear him. He was so low, but still willing to go through the motions as long as he had his drugs and his high, which wasn't even really a high anymore, just an attempt at reaching his old baseline. The reality is, Jared didn't die for one reason. It was the genetic predisposition to ADHD and potentially depression, mixed with the wrong influence, mixed with addiction, mixed with fame and money, a powerful train on its way to death, and would have taken a huge effort for him to turn things around. This one was a tough one to make, and I appreciate you taking out the time to watch this. And if anything, I hope there was some valuable lessons scattered around somewhere. If you ever need help, please don't bottle it in and hide it. Addiction thrives in darkness and struggles in light. I've been Jay Wisdom, and until next time.
Yo, bro. I ain't gonna lie. King. Like, you don't even, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, yeah. Oh my gosh. That's actually crazy, bro. That's crazy.